Before we move on to the video, if you are looking for more LEED study material, please do not hesitate to contact me on my email and on my LinkedIn. In addition to the material, I have also developed a file in which I have put all the credit categories with their respective names, adaptations to which they apply, their description, their details, furthermore required documentations, formulas, and the standards they follow in a tabular form and color-coded. And all the important terminologies related to that credit categories are stated below. Feel free to contact me and I'll be more than happy to share all with you. Hello and welcome. To start with the credit categories, the first one is integrative process. The maximum number of points we can earn is 1, and as per the table it has 1 prerequisite and 1 credit. But this prerequisite is only applicable to healthcare adaptation. If you see all not available except for healthcare, and for the integrative process credit, it's available to all adaptations, and the maximum number of points is 1. In general, it's a comprehensive approach to the design, construction, and operation of the building systems and equipment. You have to work together, preferably in the pre-design phase, to find out your possible or potential problems and find the solutions right in the start, in the pre-design phase, as it suggests that it helps team find green building solution in the design phase and to find synergies between the building system and components. I think we discussed earlier, synergy is that if you can follow or if you can fulfill the intent or requirement of one credit, it also helps you to attain another one. For example, if you have a good facade which does not allow too much light in or the heat rays from the sun, it means that you need less cooling inside. And if there is no gaps or leakage in your facade, it means that it's not letting heat in, it's not letting cooling out. So you would have in turn less load on your HVAC system. So this is a simple example of synergy. For the integrative project planning and design, which is a prerequisite for healthcare only, please do not forget that since it's a prerequisite, so all the healthcare facilities that are applying for LEED certification in the healthcare adaptation has to follow or has to comply with these requirements. The intent of this prerequisite is to maximize opportunities for integrative, cost-effective green building strategies, emphasizing human health. Since it's a healthcare facility, so the basic or the primary goal is to emphasize on human health. In order to fulfill the intent, the requirement is to complete 4 activities. The first one is preliminary rating goals, that which certification you want to achieve or you intend to achieve, and which credits that you are going to be applying for. I think the LEED scorecard is going to be really effective in this activity for defining the preliminary rating goals. Then you have to prepare OPR. OPR stands for Owner Project Requirements. This is a document that specifies the owner priorities for his project, what should be done and what he thinks is to be done in terms for the project to be successful. So you have to prepare an OPR as a document and a health mission statement following the triple bottom line. If you remember, triple bottom line is people, planet, and profit. So the third one is that you have to assemble integrated project team. The project team is that you have an architects on board, you have electrical department, mechanical department, you could have energy modular, you can have landscape architect, and all these people you have to assemble your team in which is the requirement for this prerequisite, which shows that you are actually working as you are gelled together from the design phase. And you should have a minimum for our design charrette. Charrette is, I think, just a fancy name for the meetings, and you should have a 4-hour design meeting, including all the team members that you have just integrated. It should have all the stakeholders or the main stakeholders on board, and these once these 4 activities are done, you kind of fulfill the requirement of this prerequisite. And in terms of documentation, if you recall the structure of the credit, there was intent, requirement, options, documentations, formulas, and the number of points. So in this particular, we do not have any formulas. So for the documentation, you should submit your narrative explaining how your health mission, which you have just adopted or stated, address the credit requirements. Integrative process, 1 point for all adaptations. And the intent is to support high performance, cost effective project outcomes through early analysis. All the time it's emphasizing on being early. The requirements are there are 3 phases for integrative process to fulfill the requirement and the intent of the integrative process. The first one is the discovery phase, which is again the most important one. And in this phase, the team needs to complete energy and water analysis. The energy analysis could be a simple box energy model through a software which are available online. And for the water analysis, you should consider indoor water, outdoor water, makeup water, and the water through rainfall should also be considered. And then you have to assess at least 2 potential strategies for below 7 categories, like site conditions, which could contain shading, exterior lighting, hardscape, landscaping, and adjacent site conditions. The massing and orientation may be like the effects of massing and orientation on HVAC, sizing, energy consumption, and lighting. And then you have the basic envelope attributes like insulation values, window to wall ratios, glazing characteristics, shading, etc. Then lighting levels in the interior surface, reflectance values, lighting levels in occupied spaces. Then the thermal comfort ranges, like the options you could have for the thermal comfort, the plugs and process loads need through programmatic solutions, multifunctional spaces when it comes to the operational parameters and operating schedules, space allotment per person. So all this, but we should assess only the potential strategies right now. We are not finalizing them, we are analyzing them, and we'll finalize them in the next phase. For this is the discovery phase, and we have to just consider the possibilities. The second phase is the implementation phase, in which you have to document how energy modeling and water analysis affected your project decisions. In OPR, we just discussed what is OPR, and BOD. BOD is the basis of design. You have an input from your energy modeling and water analysis, and you have an input from OPR, and you have to develop that how you base your design based on these inputs, and how did this input affect building geometry and envelope, the downsizing of systems of HVAC and lighting. We just had an example how it can help, the facade can help the HVAC, and plumbing and sewage system, rainwater quality and quantity, because we have just seen that rainwater has to be assessed in the water analysis, landscaping and irrigation, how it was affected by all what you have discussed or done in the discovery phase. And you have to use at least 1 non-potable water supply source to offset at least 2 of indoor, outdoor, or processed water demand components. Non-potable as per EPA, which cannot be consumed for drinking. So you can have a non-potable water source, which could be a filtered water or used water on your site to offset the demands of these 3 indoor, outdoor, processed water demand components, at least 2 of them. And the third phase is the occupancy, feedback, and operations phase, which will be after the building is being constructed, mechanisms are in place, and they are created to measure performance and feedback. Feedback could be from your sensors or from the people who are inside by the occupant surveys. And the documentation that you need to provide for this credit is to the project team must complete the USDBC's integrative worksheet that is available, which is for energy and water analysis tabs. This 3 process that we have just seen helps to fulfill the intent of the integrative process credit. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks.